Good morning, honorable members. The chief whips of political parties and party representatives, as well as the support staff.
Recording in progress.
The meeting of the National Assembly Programming Committee will now commence. May I ask for the apologies? I have received apologies from the speaker. The Honorable Nosiviwe Mapisa Nakula is currently attending a Women's IPU Summit in France. Then also House Chairpersons Boroto and Tombela, the Deputy Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honorable Dlakude, who's accompanying the Speaker, the Secretary of the National Assembly have submitted an apology, but have subsequently informed me that he's joining the meeting from Angola, where he is with the Honorable Boroto, House Chairperson Boroto, in the bench marking exercise that they are undertaking. Are there any other apologies that has been received or that members want to table?
Good morning, Mr. Frolick and members. This is Tanya Lyons. Just to indicate that Deputy Speaker has submitted an apology and Mr. Swart also submitted an apology.
Thank you. Are there any further apologies? If not, may I ask for the agenda to be flighted so that it can be considered? Honorable members, you do have the agenda in front of us. It is the standard agenda that's utilized for meetings of the National Assembly Programming Committee. Can I ask for a member of the committee to move for the adoption? Honorable Mkalipi, I see your hand.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, good morning. May I also sponsor an item that talks about the Ethics Committee and the issue that regards to the Speaker of National Assembly, the investigation that is taking place that was reported on Sunday time.
Okay. Honorable member, it is a matter that is in the public domain, and there's a lot of information, some of it in terms of procedure that is correct and others that is not correct. I first want to deal with the parliamentary program. I'm not going to entertain a discussion on the matter because we may fall foul of the Ethics Committee, the code itself. But as far as procedure is concerned, I think it's important that I do make an announcement on how the Ethics Committee processes work so that we can have clarity in the minds of the public as well as honorable members of parliament. We will do that after the consideration of the parliamentary program. I also see the hand of
just for the purpose of the clarity, Chair, on after you have entertained the matter, what do you mean by the announcement? Are we going to be allowed to engage on the matter after your announcement as the Chair?
We are not going to deal with the substance of the matter, honorable member, as it has been reflected in the media. We will talk about process. So any question relating to process will be entertained, but as far as substance is concerned, that is not what I am going to dwell into. But let's deal with it after the consideration of the parliamentary program. I also see the hand of the Honorable Boroto.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you. I know my apology was submitted, but I'm able to get time and join. I just want to move for the adoption of the agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Boroto. Honorable Ntlangwini.
Thank you very much, Chair. Before the adoption of the agenda, I understand that we're not going to be able to go into the substance of the matter, but I think just for record purposes, as you are saying, you're going to make an announcement pertaining to the work of the Ethics Committee, and that we don't know what other programs are you bringing or subjects are you bringing that are being discussed in the Ethics Committee. So I will propose, Chair, maybe under the parliamentary program, we put maybe that as a standalone item that you will be dealing with so that we can engage also in the subject matter. But just to say you're going to make an announcement, we don't know what announcement are you going to make and how the shape of your announcement is going to be. So I will kindly just propose maybe perhaps after the programming, we put that as a standalone item so that we can engage as this committee. Of course, we're not going to go into the subject of their work, how they are doing their work. We're not going to engage in that. But I just think for record purposes, we need to have a standalone item, not just as a simple announcement.
Thank you, Honourable Member. You have been heard. I've indicated earlier that the matter will be dealt with after the parliamentary program. And I want to reiterate it. No substantive discussions in terms of the merits and the demerits of the matter will be entertained and discussed, because then all of us will be in breach of the Code of Ethics. And I, as the chairperson of this NAPC and as the acting speaker, will not go into any substantive discussions around the merits and the demerits thereof. It will be dealt with after the parliamentary program. The Honourable Boroto, you have
Thank
moved.
you, Chair. I think you have covered me, except to say that we must also know why we have a programming meeting. What is the purpose of a programming meeting? So that we don't have to put issues that are not belonging to the programming meeting. And I agree with you that in announcement after that, you can be able to talk to these issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Kalipi. Are you seconding the adoption of the agenda?
Yes, Chair, I would love to, but Chair, I want to caution you and Honourable Roto for not wanting to dictate to us how we must also run this programming meeting. We want to raise issues here of we think that are very important, especially this programming meeting supposed to be presided over the speaker with a serious allegation. We said this matter must be an item on the agenda so we can deal with. So I think your ruling, Chair, let us wait for your ruling, but also our observation was to correct the narrative that you are saying it will be an announcement. So that's why we wanted to be very clear if it's an announcement and members will be able to engage on the matter that is proposed.
The matter is now being dealt with. I said we'll deal with it after the parliamentary program.
Okay, Chair, thanks.
That is what your own member also proposed. But I also indicated, and I want to reiterate it, no substantive discussions on the merits of the case will take place. The Honourable Majodina, I'm waiting for somebody to second the adoption of the agenda. Honourable Majodina.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. Honourable Chair, I stand to second the agenda and agree with you that the matter, you are going to deal with it after the programming and no merits and demerits. Programming is about the program of Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you. The agenda is now being adopted. We will now proceed. Honourable Lasoma, I see you still have your hand up. We have now adopted the agenda. Is that a legacy hand?
No, I'm covered by Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We then revert to the agenda and we will deal with the consideration of the minutes of the meeting of the 22nd of February. Can we flight those minutes, please? We have in front of us the minutes. We will first go through the minutes for correctness. I trust that all members have read the minutes. It was distributed timeously. So if there are any corrections, any omissions, please bring it to my attention so that we can deal with that and correct the minutes accordingly. Are there any comments? There's no comments. I now request a member of the committee to move for the adoption of the minutes. Honourable Majodina.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. I move for the adoption of these minutes, Honourable Acting Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party. Is there a seconder? The Honourable Teke.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker, and good morning to everyone. I second the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The minutes have now been duly adopted. Are there any matters arising? Are there any matters arising from the minutes? There was a matter that was raised in those minutes around the members' workshop session that took place on the 16th of February. That is a matter dealing with the issue of calculated draft gratuity and submission of outstanding beneficiary forms for funeral cover by members. But that is dealt with at the Chief Whip's Forum, and it will be concluded there. Are there any further matters arising? Honorable Majordina.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Honorable Acting Speaker, you covered me on the first one, and I hope that Mr. Kaso and the team will prepare a report for the Chief Whip's Forum on this particular matter. The second one could be reported to by the committee section because it deals with the state of readiness on appointment of the commissioner for gender equality, as well as the issue of law, intelligence law, general intelligence law amendment that can be dealt with when they give a report on that next item. So I think I'm covered if it is going to be reported on the progress that has been made. Otherwise, there's no matter that is arising on my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The matter will be dealt with, Honorable Chief Whip, and that comprehensive report will be made available to the Chief Whip's Forum. Can we fly the agenda, please? In the absence of any other issues, can we go back to the agenda? Honorable members, we are now looking at reports, and the first report is from the committee section. I now recognize Ms. Giba, who on behalf of the committee section will deliver the report. Ms. Giba.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chair. Good morning to you and to the honorable members, as well as all my colleagues. I present the committee section report on bills and matters before the National Assembly committees. Honorable House Chair, with your permission, I will only reflect on those slides where there are updates, as well as responding to the two matters that the Honorable House Chief has raised. My report will start on slide number 2. On this slide, I give a summary of the total number of bills that are currently before the NA committees. We have about 24 bills before NA committees, as well as 2 matters before the committees, 3 statutory appointments, as well as 9 petitions before the committees. On slide number 4, I reflect a list of bills that has been indicated likely to be finalized by March 2024. The rest of the slides, Honorable House Chairperson, give an indication of the activities that were undertaken by the committees in terms of their work on these bills as and when they are finishing the bills. So slide number 4 and slide number 5, I give a list of Section 75 and Section 76 bills that are likely to be finalized by March. And then also, Honorable House Chair, on slide number 5, I also wish to indicate that the Electricity Regulation Amendment Bill, we initially reported that it will be done by 1st March, but they have changed the date to 8 March this week. The committee is proceeding with its work on it. There is a likelihood that they will finish the bill this week still. The next reporting slide is slide number 6 and 7. Sorry, just slide number 6, which also gives information about the budget instruments that we introduced and the dates to finish by the committee. All the committees are on set. They are going to finish the work according to the dates that they have proposed on the slides. Then we move from slide number 6 to slide number 20. I'm sorry, to slide number 18. On this slide, we are only presenting it for information. The Electoral Matters Amendment Bill has since been finalized. And then slide number 20. We are dealing with statutory appointments. The first one is the Gender Equality Appointment, Commission for Gender Equality Appointment. The committee intends to finalize their work on the 15th of March, and there is a likelihood that they will indeed finish the work on the 18th of March. The next slide is that of the Deputy Public Protector, a matter before PC on Justice and Correctional Services. The 20th of March is their aim to finish the work on this matter, and there is also here a likelihood that they will finish by the date as proposed. Then we also have two new referrals on statutory appointments. The first one is that of PANSAP. We received a letter from the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture requesting the National Assembly to initiate a process to make appointments on this board. This matter has been referred to PC on Sport and Culture, and the Sport and Culture portfolio will finalize the work on PANSAP on the 19th of March. The last statutory appointment is a new referral letter from the Minister in the Presidency requesting the National Assembly to initiate a process to make an appointment on the Media Development and Diversity Agency Board. That's a new referral, and this committee must still come up with a program on how they are going to proceed with their work on this board. Then we move to slide number 26 on the work of the ad hoc committee. This committee has been granted an extension to finish their work by the 22nd of March. However, in terms of their program, they are aiming to finalize their work on the 15th of March. We move to slide number 27 on the work of the petitions. Initially, we have reported that this committee, PC on Cooperative Governance, will finish this petition on the 6th of March, which is yesterday. It was not finalized, and we are yet to receive an update on when this committee will finalize that particular petition. Then the last on the petitions will be the slide number 28. We are reporting that the Portfolio Committee on Employment and Labor has finalized the petition from Solidarity and Cape Forum, calling on the Assembly to investigate the reassessment of the legality, rationality, and desirability of the Employment Equity Regulation. That work has since been finalized. And this concludes my report, Honorable House Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Giba. I will now hand over to either Advocate van der Merwe or Mr. Kipido from the Bills Office to report on the bills that are there, as well as on Constitutional Court judgments and deadlines.
Good morning, Honorable House Chairperson and Honorable Members. My name is Adrian Cupido, and I'm standing in for Dr. Mbata, who's also presenting in the NCOP programming meeting, which is happening at the same time as this meeting. My report will start from slide number 2. On slide number 2, we have currently 2 bills on the NA order paper, but I will be reporting on the Electoral Matters Amendment Bill, which was reported on by the Committee on Home Affairs, so the bill is now before the NA for consideration. The next slide is slide number 3. On slide number 3, under the legislative program that was submitted on the 3rd of April 2023, that had 42 bills, 10 bills have been passed so far. And one of those bills is the Copyright Amendment Bill, which has been passed on the 29th of February and will be sent for assent. The next slide is slide number 5. On slide number 5, on the bills passed and to be assented to, Honorable House Chairperson, we have 3 bills that have recently been passed, which is the Divorce Amendment Bill, Municipal Fiscal Powers Amendment Bill, and the ESCOM Debt Relief Amendment Bill. All 3 bills have been sent to the President for assent. And the total number of bills that are currently with the President is 17. The next slide is slide number 6. On slide number 6, I'm continuing to report on the bills passed and to be sent for assent. We've got the Copyright Amendment Bill, Performance Amendment Bill, Economic Regulation Transport Bill, Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill, and National Road Traffic Amendment Bill. These 5 bills are being prepared and will be sent to the President for assent. This is all from the Bills Office, Honorable House Chairperson. Thank you so much. But with your permission, Honorable House Chair, I will hand over to my colleague, Advocate van der Merwe, to give a report on Constitutional Court deadlines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to the members. To give feedback on the Constitutional Court deadlines, I think the slides will be shared now. There they are. I just want to remind members that there is also an accompanying report that was distributed to members, and that report refers to all the matters that are affected. This presentation focuses on matters where there will be a gap in the law and where action is thus urgent, and where there has been progress on those matters or where there is a concern. The first matter that I want to speak to is a new matter, and it is a bit of a different one from the norm because there isn't a court order. However, there is litigation, or there was litigation, and the court indicated that there is merit in what the applicants are asking, but that the court would not be giving an order at that time because the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs is considering the Electoral Commission Amendment Bill, which would be addressing the concerns that the applicant raised. But the court also indicated that if Parliament does not take the necessary steps in a reasonable time, that the applicants may approach the court again. Accordingly, because of that risk to Parliament, we've thought it good to add it to this report so that we can keep an eye on this matter, especially as there is already a bill before Parliament. The progress on this matter that I can also report on is that the applicants have indicated that if no steps have been taken by 23 January 2025, they will approach the court. We've alerted the chairperson of the Home Affairs Committee of this, and in fact, the department in IEC was scheduled to respond next week, the 12th of March, but I understood from the chair that has been postponed to the 26th of March, but that still means that there is progress on this bill. We can go to the next slide, please. The next matter to give feedback on is the Women's Legal Centre Trust. Now, this matter affected two pieces of legislation. The one is the Divorce Act, and on that, the Divorce Amendment Bill was passed by the Council of Provinces on 27 February and will now is with the President for assent. The Marriage Act is the other act that has been, or Marriages Act. There's a couple of these acts that have been affected. The department introduced the Marriages Bill, Bill 43 of 2023, and the committee is continuing to process this bill. The call for comments is being processed for advertising, and that will go out very soon. There's also a briefing by the department scheduled for the 19th of March. However, the deadline for this bill is 27 June 2024. It is an extensive bill. Even if there weren't any elections, it would be very difficult for both houses to pass this bill by then. So legal services have received both political and financial authorization to ask for an extension of the court order. We have instructed the state attorney, and counsel has been appointed to facilitate that application. The next and the last slide. The first one deals with copyright, and in fact, Mr. Cupido had also just reported on that amendment bill being passed. The matter of Blind SA, it has been passed, and my note says has been sent for assent, but is being finalized to be sent for assent. And the same with the next matter on Centre for Child Law. This has been covered in the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill that has also been passed and is being prepared to be sent for assent. That is it all. That is all that I have to report on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kivido and Advocate van der Merwe. Honourable members, there we have the two reports. Are there any questions of clarity? I first recognize the Honourable Hendricks, followed by the Honourable Kwagube and the Chief Whip of the Majority Party. Then, in that order, please. Honourable Hendricks.
Thank you very much. I would like to speak about the amendments to the Divorce Act and also the new Marriage Act of South Africa. I agree that we have to apply for the extension because it's a very complicated act. As you know, Alderma has withdrawn its bill to facilitate fast tracking. and the undertaking by the minister. There are still some issues, but I will address that with the minister, because the undertakings that they gave for us to withdraw our bill has not been met, and that is a bit disappointing. Secondly, with regard to the amendments to the Divorce Act, Al-Jamaa has also made in fact, was the first to introduce amendments because of the court order of the Constitutional Court, and it is disappointing that that bill has conveniently been just set aside and not processed through Parliament. I did not. I am disappointed that we have approved the amendments in both houses, and it's before the President. Al-Jamaa has written to the President not to assent to the amendments to the Divorce Act, because as it stands in front of you, it is still unconstitutional, because certain women are still not allowed access to the divorce court, that is Jewish women, Hindu women, and also the royal houses. I concede that the Act may comply with the Constitutional Court order, but as it stands, as you read it, it is still unconstitutional, and that is a blot against Parliament in both houses. Thank you very much, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Hendricks. The Honourable Gwagube.
Thank you very much, Chair. I just wanted to find out with the Electoral Matters Amendment Bill, which is currently before Home Affairs, and I think I heard the presenter saying it is coming before the NA. I just want to find out from legal services, are they aware whether or not there are issues in that bill which will affect the timeline of the IEC or not? It's just to get an understanding of the urgency of the bill coming before the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker. Let me welcome both reports and appreciate that on CGE as well as DPP, there is a clear timeline which committees want to meet, and that is going to assist us if it does happen during this term. I welcome that report. The second one is on the new matter of litigation on what the applicant raised. But now, what is confusing me is that whilst appreciating that the unit will keep an eye on it, and the deadline, according to this, is supposed to be the 23rd of January 2025. But now, why are we putting ourselves under pressure by bringing this matter by March 12 or March 26 this year? What are the complications of this, or implications of wanting to bring it in a year earlier, when it is said that the steps can be taken by 23rd of January 2025, based on the letter dated 5th of March 2024? Why do we want to bring it now? And not unless I misunderstood. Thank you very much, House Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip. May I revert back to Mr. Kipido, or Advocate van der Merwe?
Thank you, Mr. Frolik, and to all the members who have made comments. Just in respect of Mr. Hendricks's comments, we have also been in touch with the presidency. They have received the concern, and we have discussed with him our views. The challenge in respect of constitutionality is that we need to differentiate between when a situation is unconstitutional and when a bill is unconstitutional. The bill itself is constitutional, it complies, but there is, of course, still the issue that certain women are not given the same rights, and that in itself is unconstitutional, or could be found unconstitutional. Let me not presume. But there is a bill, the marriage bill, that will be dealing with all marriages, and Department Justice has confirmed that depending on what is found in that marriage bill, what the outcome of that bill will be, there will then be amendments to the Divorce Act as well to make provision for all religions. So yes, I understand that it is slow, but there is definitely a process underway. In respect of the Electoral Matters Amendment Bill, that bill is in fact now before the Assembly for second reading. Our office and also the support staff from a procedural point of view have been in meetings with the Select Committee. There has also been some special measures taken in order to speed up the processing of this bill because it impacts on the elections, and we understand the urgency in this. So at this point in time, there is nothing that we can see that would make this bill be delayed. We are discussing with the Select Committee and trying to find the best way to deal with this bill as fast as possible while still complying with constitutional requirements. In respect of the report on the new matter, we've been requested to give feedback on all new matters. So sometimes the deadline is 2-3 years in advance. But so this report is just to say we are keeping an eye on it. This is where we are now. And also to indicate that there is something being done in case members are ever, questioned. There is this concern. What is Parliament doing about it? Then members are aware that, in fact, yes, we are aware that there is this concern, but there's also this bill before Parliament, or we have interacted with the department and this is what is happening. So it was in that spirit that we have added that matter as well to the presentation. Thank you, Chairperson.
Well, thank you, Advocate van der Merwe. I see the hand of Dr. Mulder.
Good morning. Thank you, Acting Speaker. On the same point with regard to the Electoral Amendment Bill, I would like to ask Advocate van der Merwe, I understand that if there are no impediments, it will not have an effect on the election timetable. But am I right to say that if court action is taken to challenge that bill because of other provisions that does not directly impact on the election, but is part of the bill, that it may have an impact on the election timetable?
Advocate van der Merwe.
Thank you, Chair. I didn't hear the question very well, but I think that it had to do with if there could be court challenges. Look, there can only be a challenge once the bill has been passed by Parliament. Once that is done, it's assented to, the IEC can start processing, and whatever needs to be applied for the elections can be applied for the elections. If there is anything that does not impact on the elections itself, of course, that will only be implemented once it is required. Any court challenge can be made at that point in time, and it is very difficult at this point in time to say how a court challenge would impact, but I can only see that a court challenge could impact the elections if there is an interdict given against proceeding with the elections. So I cannot see that the bill in itself, once in its processing, or once it is sent for assented to and made operational, will delay the elections. A court challenge will have to judge on its own merits, on its own facts, and see if what impact it could have on elections. But like I say, I can only see an actual interdict impacting like that. Thank you.
Dr. Mulder, I see your hand is still up. Do you want to make an mention? I understand what Advocate van der Merwe is saying. I understand that the interdict is one way, The question I would like to ask
Chair, we can hardly hear Honorable Melter. If he has earphones, must take earphones out, or if he is in the basement, get out of the basement. Want to hear the input.
Honorable Mulder, you are hardly audible. Can you repeat what you said so that the meeting can follow the discussion, please? Honorable Mulder? It seems as if the honorable member is no longer on the platform. There is definitely, even with the first intervention, yes, no is no longer on the platform. Honourable members, we will proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the consideration of the program. The programming whip.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker, and once more, good morning to the colleagues connected in this meeting. The program is as follows. This afternoon, mini plenaries are scheduled for this afternoon in order to debate the committee reports. The second reading, which is next week, the second reading on Electoral Matters Amendment Bill, debate on International Women's Day, and committee reports are scheduled for Tuesday, the 12th of March, and on Wednesday, the 13th of March, it's questions to the governance cluster and consideration of the report on fiscal framework and revenue proposals are scheduled for that day. And on Thursday, second reading debates on electricity regulation amendment bill is provisionally scheduled on Thursday, the 14th of March. And committee reports are also scheduled for that day, and the reports will be finalized for submission very soon. And on the 19th of March, there is a debate on Human Rights Day, which is proposed. The plenary, it's proposed to start at 9 o'clock. And consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, the second adjustment appropriation bill, and gold and foreign exchange contingency reserve account deferral amendment bill are provisionally scheduled for the 26th of March. Previously, I think we've reported that they will be scheduled for the 27th, but we have changed it due to the committee program. And on the next, the finalization of the second term program, Acting Speaker, by the NCOP this morning will also assist in the proposed date and date for the National Assembly, as it will indicate the last sitting of the National Council of Provinces in May, and it is expected that there could be proposed amendments in other bills for the consideration of the National Assembly. And also, or lastly, the technical committee is also monitoring the processing of the following matters, amongst others, for the consideration before the National Assembly's rise on the 28th of March. The South African Institute for Drug-Free Sports Amendment Bill, as it was reported, the Pension Funds Amendment Bill, thirdly, the report on ad hoc committee on the General Intelligence Laws Amendment Bill, the appointment of the CGE or the Commission of Gender Equality Commissioners, the appointment of members to the Pan South African Language Board, and finally the appointment of the Deputy Public Protector. Thank you, Acting Speaker. This is the proposed program, draft program.
Thank you, Honourable Tseke. Honourable members, the program has been presented. Are there any comments? I see the NA constituency period is now clearly indicated to start on the 2nd of April, keeping in mind what the programming whip said, that subsequent amendments in the NCOP may come back to the National Assembly for a special sitting to be convened. I recognize the Honourable Mulder, followed by the Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. My apology for not being able to continue where I am. We've got load shedding and I was kicked out of the system. I could not see if the electoral amendment laws is still scheduled for coming Tuesday the 12th. If that is the case, I did put the position yesterday in the Chief Whips, and it deals with a question that I wanted to ask earlier from Legal Services. My concern is that I know that in terms of the parliamentary process, it has been processed and therefore the Parliament can deal with that. But there are some questions and some difficulties with that. I did ask for a meeting with the Deputy President, Leader of Government Business in this regard. And the concern is that if it may impact legal proceedings on the election timetable, and I heard what Advocate van der Merwe basically said, but the question is, if a court would declare certain sections of that bill unconstitutional, because that does also have an impact on the election, because it directly also involves the election process. It's about the allocation of funds. And I want to know if that has been considered by legal services. And my appeal would be that we do not proceed. There is some time to allow some process to take place to prevent that because of the possible impact. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. The Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Honourable Acting Speaker. Honourable Acting Speaker, on the program yesterday in the Chief Whips Forum, we made a proposal that we must consider to have some sessions starting in the morning, especially if such sessions might not need the executive. Like a lot of reports that we have to clear such reports. I was trying to check on the program. I don't see the amendments in terms of days that will start in the morning session. I want to raise that. The second one is that it is a norm and a procedure and a rule that when the committee has finalized the bill, they must bring the bill to the House to adopt or not to adopt. It will be very strange that we put the cart before the horse to say what if there are litigation or someone will approach the court. We don't know at this moment. We can only act when the bill has been brought to the House and passed or not passed in the House. Because if this is how we want to attend to legislation, it will be a problem that will delay everything, especially that we are working against time here. There are elections pronounced for the 29th of May. In whatever we do, the parliamentary role must be disposed of. Then if there is any challenge in terms of the law, let that be dealt separately. Let's not hold Parliament at ransom to await for side talks. I suggest that whilst I hear Honourable Melda, but whatever we do in terms of the delay and which is not based on a court outcome, it will be to disservice Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip. The Honourable Singh.
No, thank you very much, and greetings to everybody that's there. I just want to follow up on Dr. Mulder and the Chief Whip, and I agree with the Chief Whip to the extent that if there's any court action or any action contemplated before the President signs a law assents to a law, it has to go through the process of the National Assembly and the NCOP. But I think what Dr. Mulder is saying is that he's just making an earnest appeal at this point in time that it's still not too late, because there is no doubt, Honourable Chairperson, that there will be court action soon after, and it will impact on the possibly impact on the election and things like that. So it's not a threat, but it's just something for the parties to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Mulder, I see your hand is still up, and I also see the hand now of the Honourable Kwankwa.
Sorry, Chairperson, I didn't mean that it should be up, but being that it's up, if you would allow me to make just one point. I hear what the Chief Whip is saying. I understand that. The whole attempt is to exactly prevent any court action that could delay the process. And I think if we do not rush this next week, there is some time to give chance for a process perhaps of allowing to interact with one another. We can prevent court action, because if we don't do that, it may delay and we will have to come back in any case. But if a committee feels that we should proceed in any case and see how it plays out, then so be it.
The Honourable Kwankwa.
Thank you very much, House Chair. Corney, as I call my colleague, is quite correct in saying I think we've made it clear to the President that if the ANC is not willing to hear various opinions on this matter, we are more than willing to challenge this matter in court and see what the outcome is going to be. And indeed, I agree with Honorable Melder on behalf of the UDM that what should happen henceforth is that there should be further deliberations about how to tackle this matter and how to actually take it forward. Because as Honorable Singh has said, it has the potential to delay the elections if we're not careful. And we're willing to do everything in our power as the opposition collective to make sure that we're treated fairly insofar as this matter is concerned. Thank you, House Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Kwankwa. Honorable Members, the item is on the program for next Tuesday. It will remain on the program. I would have expected the chief whips of parties who have raised these concerns here now to have discussed the matter in the chief whips forum, where discussions must take place. And the program was apparently presented as well in the chief whips forum yesterday. However, may I request the chief whips outside of this meeting if they want to proceed with their discussions, but in the meantime, the item will remain on the program for next Tuesday. Is there any other matter that honorable members wish to raise? If not, we will...
Acting Speaker?
Yes. Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Just to respond on the morning session on opening up Parliament so that we should not finish late, which was raised by the question that was raised by the Chief Whip of the Majority Party. I think we have opened up the morning sitting on the 19th of March. Hence, I said we're proposing for a human rights debate in the morning because we wanted to offload the program in the afternoon, its questions to the cluster. And the other one, we are also proposing, we thought that we will monitor the progress in terms of committee work. We're thinking of opening up the 26th of March. I think that is the day wherein we will be presenting the appropriation bills. But thus far, we are following up on the committee work and all the reports that must be submitted to the programming for consideration. But we are taking the point as raised by the Chief Whip of opening the morning sessions. Thanks.
Yes, may I just request the programming work that once these morning sessions have been agreed to, after proper consultation, of course, that we share that information immediately so that it can facilitate the planning of Parliament itself, but also the members of Parliament who will have to attend these sessions that are taking place. And let's not at the last minute just put it on the program and it becomes a surprise to everyone. Let's do it timeously, please. Is there any other matter? No further matters? Then proceed to the item that was raised right at the beginning of the meeting around the matter in the public domain around the Speaker of the National Assembly and issues around the Ethics Committee. Now, honorable members, as all of you are aware, all of us, including the Speaker of the National Assembly, who's a member of Parliament, are subject to the Code of Conduct. And that code is freely available and members can also access it or get it if they don't have it at their disposal. And the process is actually quite straightforward. We do not get involved in any manner, and that includes the Speaker, on any matter that is in front of the Ethics Committee. The procedure is that if a complaint has been laid, then the acting registrar will deal with the matter in terms of the code, and the affected or affected members will be informed accordingly, and they will interact with the acting registrar, and she reports then to the Joint Committee on Ethics and members' interests. That is how the process unfolds. No one, and I want to repeat it, no one, including the Speaker of the National Assembly, nor the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, nor any presiding officer, have any insight into the work that the Ethics Committee is undertaking. They operate according to their guidelines, and they will report back to the House on what the outcome is if a transgression has taken place, as well as what the remedial action should be. So that is the process. Now, in this instance, there were two political parties who indicated during member statements and also afterwards that they have laid a complaint with the Ethics Committee. That is the Democratic Alliance, as well as the Economic Freedom Fighters. More than that, we do not know. We have not received any correspondence from the Ethics Committee, from the Acting Registrar, on how the matter is being dealt, nor will they correspond to us, because if they do that, they will also fall foul of the provisions of the Code of Conduct. And that is where the matter currently is. And I really would request honorable members not to delve into the substantive issues, because by so doing, you will also fall foul of the Code of Conduct, and you may well have a complaint against you as well. The Honorable Kwagube.
Thank you very much, Chair, and that's quite clear. Mine is a procedural concern, and I think it's something that is very much firmly within the realm and the ambit of the programming committee. When one looks at, I think firstly we have to acknowledge, Chair, that these allegations that have come to the fore are serious. And that we as an institution need to be seen and in earnest be dealing with them. My concern lies with and perhaps you are the best placed to hear the concern. My concern lies with the frequency of the business that is dealt with by the Ethics Committee. In 2023, Chair, the committee met 6 times. They are yet to meet in 2024. It is now March and we are nearing the end of perhaps the term of the parliamentary business. And now the concern here is that these matters are urgent and they are serious, that are being faced by the Speaker. And I think it's important, Chair of Chairs, that this is something that is dealt with the Ethics Committee, not the merits of the case, but the workload. We need to understand what is the workload of the Ethics Committee and what are the timelines, because we cannot be seen to simply be sitting on this matter and not dealing with it, because it really does threaten to erode the trust that the people of South Africa have in us. So I am just laying that for me is the concern, that committee, in spite of perhaps the workload, is yet to meet this year and only met 6 times last year. And so I think it is important from a programming perspective to nudge upon them about the importance of dealing with that workload. Thanks.
Thank you. The Honorable Mkalipi, followed by the Honorable Lasoma, and then the Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, I was listening to you very attentively when you were also mentioning that the registrar is also acting. That is the problem that we have in this parliament, because this allegation, Chairperson, is very, very serious. And we can't be expected as political parties to sit here and continue with the business as usual. The Speaker of Parliament is the one who's supposed to ensure that this institution is protected against all odds. So this allegation of 2.3 million is a very serious one, Acting Speaker and the House Chair. So therefore, listening to you, outlining the processes, and everyone knows that Parliament is coming to an end. And as Honorable Kwagube is mentioning that since last year, this Ethics Committee have met just 6 times, and this year have not met. So the question begs to be clear, how is it going to be unfold in this regard? And that's why in the member statement that you are mentioning, even Chairperson, to say that we are very clear as EFF to say that these processes that are also being managed by the political party is going to also to compromise the parliament, because the only thing that the Speaker is supposed to do is to resign, failing which the political party must also force her to resign because of this serious allegation. Now, Chairperson, let me ask you a straight question. So this acting registrar, according to my knowledge, she started to act around 2017, 2018, not even before 2019. And we are going to end this time of parliament, which is 29 May, we are having elections. So now how are we expecting the registrar to continue to do her job diligently and ensure that all matters that are reported to ethics committee are processed while she's acting for almost 5 parliamentary consecutive processes? So are we serious about the work of ethics as parliament or not? Are we saying that this ethics committee must be not having teeth to bite because the registrar is acting? What is going to happen if this registrar gets an employment tomorrow and leave everything? Are we serious as parliament? So this thing must be addressed, and I agree that you as an acting speaker, as the chairs of chairs, you must explain to us now what is the way forward regard to this thing, except that we are also bluffing the members of the public as this a programming committee, because they are expecting us to protect the institution its entirety. Can we also be taken serious, Chairperson, before we are losing our heads? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The Honourable Asoma.
Thank you, Honourable House Acting Speaker, and good morning to colleagues and your good self. Chair, one, I think we need to separate the issues and how we process issues. And it's going to be unfortunate 2 months before the elections, then we still also deal with those matters. One, Chair, is that there are matters that are processed in the Chief Whips Forum and they get presented here, which is a programming committee, National Assembly Programming Committee. What it does, it consolidates all the programs of the committees and issues that need to be scheduled and be attended to. And it gets a pre-draft gets presented to the Chiefs Forum, and then it gets here. That's why the programming whip says it's a draft program so that it can be endorsed here. That's one. Two, also, Chair, you have adequately and professionally dealt with the processes, which all of us, by the way, were aware of. I will strongly suggest and persuade our members that one is mindful that we sit in various committees, not necessarily representing our political parties, but there are caucus, there are programs. When the year begins or the quarter ends, the incoming quarter program gets tabled, and then all parties in the Committee of Transport, that's how we deal with it. We say the draft program is tabled, then it will be endorsed in the next meeting so that it allows anyone who's got any other issue or item that wants to be reflected in the program gets reflected. And then it gets channeled to the processes in Parliament and the systems and structures that we have. And I will suggest, Chair, that we cease from engaging on matters that have correctly, you have stated that 2 parties have written to that committee, and let us allow that committee. If there's any other issue, but it should be separate from the actual matter that my colleagues have raised in terms of the pertaining our Honourable Speaker. Let's deal with the processes and stick to what the programming committee is for. And 2 is that let other processes of Parliament, without piggybacking the matters that interest us. All issues that are raised negatively against Parliament in the public space are of concern to anyone. And it's worse when they are raised in the House as a statement and all that. And it's worse when members have written to that relevant committee. But they must give space and time to that committee to deal with the matters. And there are processes, and I think we must stick to that, Chair. It will assist even to protect ourselves as well, not interfering with the processes that are not supposed to be dealt at this level. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party. And I see there's more hands going up. Honourable members, we are not going to change the way and approach of how the Ethics Committee work. Yeah, there were specific issues that I was asked to respond to, and I'll respond to that. But let's not ventilate an issue that really is self-evident in front of us. The Program Committee doesn't have the power to change the work approach of the Ethics Committee. The Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Honourable Acting Speaker. Honourable Acting Speaker, we as the Chief Whips Forum and the NAPC once agreed that the Powers and Privileges Committee as well as the Joint Ethics Committee, at times they are unable to dispose of their work due to non-availability of members, not because those members don't want to attend, because the members are serving in other committees. We then agreed that we must clear Fridays and request our members to attend. There was a period where we even cleared constituency a period and allowed those committees to meet to clear whatever that they had in their table. And I think it would be incorrect that we pick up a particular matter and want to bring it here. And not unless we were not having this ethics committee. The matter must be dealt with by the ethics committee. And if I hear the sentiments of this of the members that have spoken earlier on, is that the committee must meet. They are saying the committee has not been meeting. I think now, because they have a matter in front of them referred to by the two parties, and the matter must be dealt there. We have been receiving reports in the plenary in the House from the Ethics Committee, from Powers and Privileges. They've reported in the House and we have adopted such reports. But now to start calling for resignation of a speaker when the matter has been referred to a relevant committee, it is unfair. Because this is what we call a public trial, and we must not fall into a trap of doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip. And the last three hands is the Honourable Sheikh Imam, the Honourable Kangwini, and the Honourable Papo.
Thank you, Honourable Acting Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the Programming Committee has its own terms of reference, and so does the Ethics Committee. It is my understanding that this matter should not be open for discussion at this point in time on this particular platform. You know, whether it's 10 Rand or whether it's 2 million Rand or whether it's 200 million Rand, if it's wrong, it's wrong. So we should not try to quantify it in terms of its seriousness. But what I am saying is this: it's premature for that matter to be discussed in the Programming Committee. Allegations are allegations until proven. And if we have to go on allegations, Honourable Acting Speaker, then I think a lot of people in this House should also have been resigning. So I think it's unfortunate and unfair to ask for anybody to resign when a matter has not been dealt with. I think we should allow the processes to continue. And if necessary, it will come to this committee if ever needs be. But at this stage, I think it's in the wrong platform, and I think we should not be entertaining this. Thank you very much, Acting Speaker.
Honourable Sheikh Imam, if you were here at the beginning of the meeting, you would have heard the comments that was made, is that we focus here on process. But the more and more honourable members start commenting, they now start referring to other members and this and that. And this discussion is quite frankly taking us nowhere. So I want to conclude on this matter, and I want all the rest of the speakers not necessarily to repeat what has been said previously. It doesn't add any value to go deeper into other members and this must be done and that must be done. The two issues on the program of the Ethics Committee and the acting position of the registrar, I'm ready to respond to. So let's deal with it in that way, please, and not open up other matters. I'm going to rule you out of order. Honourable Papu. My apologies, the Honourable Nhlangwini, followed by the Honourable Papo, and then the Honourable Nkalipi.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, it's not that we want to delve into the matter, but the Honourable Nkube raised a progressive point that the work of the Ethics Committee must be looked into in terms of the cases that are before them. because they are quick enough to set cases and quick to form quorums and meetings to sit on cases of the EFF and prioritize them without fail in protection of a sitting president. So this case can also take the same priority. So I'm proposing, House Chair, as from your side, if you perhaps, we don't say delve into the cases, but just to check what is on the schedule for this term. We have a right as this committee to know what is on the schedule for this term so that we know when the term ends, those cases or the most crucial cases are dealt with. This ethics committee can sit quickly when it's EFF members. Why can't it sit quickly when it's ANC members? And rightfully so, a speaker that have taken money or that have taken bribes, why can't it sit when people of the ANC are corrupt? But you want to sit when the EFF members are doing their work. When EFF members are doing their work, you are quick to sit a house.
No, Chair, no, Chair, no, Chair. We cannot allow that, Chair. We cannot allow that, Chair. We cannot
The
allow
member is on the
such
platform.
allegations.
Why are you harassing
No,
the member
Chair.
on the platform now?
No, Chair, we cannot allow that. We cannot allow
Escalating the
that.
situation
If they
because
want,
the ANC,
whoever
who is
cannot be
corrupt.
turned to be an ethics committee.
No, allow
No,
Honorable
Chair,
Tlangwini
no,
to
Chair.
process his
No, Chair, we
claim.
cannot allow Honorable Tlangwini to take us for granted here. This is not
He's
the
not taking
ethics
for
committee.
granted. It's
Let
your
the
speaker who
NEC
is
deal with the
having a
matter.
serious allegation of 2
Honorable Chief
million.
of the Majority Party, Honorable Tlangwini, you are completely out of order. You are now no longer making allegations, but you're putting it as fact. Can you remove the Honorable Tlangwini from the platform, please? Yeah, this is not assisting us.
But Chair, you must warn
Okay,
her first.
you can remove me.
You
I will
can't just
still
remove
talk.
him.
I will
Remove the
still have
Honorable
a platform
Tlangwini
to
from the
talk.
platform.
But Chairperson, that what is exactly what we are raising with you here, Chairperson of Parliament.
Yes,
Why are you
Honorable
removing
Kalipi,
Honorable Tlangwini instead of warning her?
Honorable Kalipi, I
Yes, Chair.
caution members not to go into substantive issues. And the member is now stating facts and making broad political statements on a matter that has been referred to the Ethics Committee. And all of you who are dwelling into substance, and I'm going to close the debate here now, I'm not taking any further ends. I want to say that the program of the Ethics Committee, I'll ask the Secretary to the National Assembly to convey the views of this meeting to them so that they can deal with the matters. Parties must ensure that they avail their members when this committee meet. The acting registrar was sworn in by the Deputy Speaker on the 2nd of October 2018, and the Secretary of the National Assembly in the appropriate forum must respond as to why we do not have a permanent registrar of members' interests 6 years down the line. It is an important position, as members have articulated. There's no one who is having a different view as far as the urgency for these matters to be concluded and for the Ethics Committee to deal with their report. Honorable members, that is the end of this meeting, and the meeting now stands adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Excuse me.
Recording stopped.